everybody, and welcome to an episode of Cooking with the Frisbees. I don't have my usual straw hat on because I bought this little chef's hat and I think it's cute. Anyway, so tonight is all about Mom's fried chicken, and I gave you guys a little bit of a preview, and I said that I asked people if they wanted me to reveal the secret ingredient. Beth thinks I should, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So usually I would be showing you as I start this, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I do this from start to finish, and then I'll go back and edit this after. But there's three things that we've got. We've got our chicken that's been sitting out for about 30 minutes and it's dried off. So I'm going to be actually cooking drumsticks, thighs, breasts that we've cut into chicken tenders, and chicken wings. And what we start out with is it goes into an egg mixture, it goes into the flour mixture, which that is the critical element, is the flour mixture. And then it goes into my fryer. I love the double fryer, but I'm only going to use one side because I'm kind of lazy with kind of straightening that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to make the flour mix, because that's what's really critical. Okay? And I see Beth got out the plain breadcrumbs, but what I really like to use Italian style, because I think it gives it a little bit more flavor. So, and you'll see what I'm doing this, I'm not measuring, so you guys don't ask me for measurements. So I just have some general all-purpose flour, you can't forget that. And I use this big ass bowl, well, it's not the prettiest bowl in the world, and I've got some prettier ones, but the utility of this bowl, I just can't beat it. So you see I put a lot of flour in here, you see that. So that's where I start with. And then adobo, which is one of my favorite seasonings for everything. And I do this liberally, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my whisk and kind of whisk this in. So I do that very liberally. Then I go ahead and I put some garlic. It makes you cough a little bit. And I go ahead and I put some garlic powder in. Okay? And this, I am going to reveal, this is the secret recipe. Now everybody asks me what I do. It's onion powder. And my mom's rule of thumb is you can never put too much, and she's right. So you always want to put a lot in there, which I just opened up the wrong side, put a lot in there. And then I come over here and I like to put pepper in here as well. I just go ahead and crack some pepper. Got this thing about crushed pepper, I don't know what that is. Take a steel whisk. What I'm going to do, you see I'm just not folding, just kind of whisking it in. Now, all of that stuff starts to disappear. So the way you're going to be able to tell if you've got the right mixture is you're going to have to taste it. So you see me kind of folding it, kind of mixing it. Make sure you have a metal whisk, because I try to use a plastic one, it doesn't work. Put your finger. I can taste a little bit of salt, but you gotta be careful. Don't make it too salty, because once it cooks, it gets saltier and enhances the flavor of that salt. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put some more Goya. I'm not measuring, but what I'm doing is I'm coating the top of the flour. So as I pour that, I can't see the flour anymore. I go ahead and put more garlic powder in, because everything's better with garlic. Maybe that's what people taste. And I go ahead and I'll put more secret ingredient. And then you guys saying that can't be it, but I'm telling you. And you can see, I don't even really need to shake this. I can be very liberal with this, because I could go ahead and empty this container in here and it would not be too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and put the whole container in. There wasn't a lot left in the container, but all right. Again, it's coated at the top. So I just whisk it in. Gently come over for a little bit of a visit. All right, so now your flour is seasoned. And then what I go ahead and I do to add some extra crunch is I like to use Italian breadcrumbs. Okay? Again, you're not gonna see me measure. I just go ahead and, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna put half the container in. Let's see what that does. So what you're gonna find out a lot of the times, and Beth used to say this to me all the time, I make so much flour. And the reason I do that is because when you start putting 3 or 4 pieces in a bowl like that, you can't have a little bit. What happened?
I don't know, it lost its gimbal.
Alright. We lost power for a second. I don't know what happened to that. The gimbal just kind of gave out. So I put some breadcrumbs in there, and I think it looks good, but you know what? Just use the rest of the container, because I don't measure. And the crispier the fried chicken is, the better. And the secret is your batter. Like, you cannot skimp on this, because this is what makes it. So now you guys, if you're taking a look at this batter, you see some of the Italian breadcrumbs that are in there. You're like, boy, I don't see that much of a difference, but believe me, this is all mixed in here. And if I, what the freak? All right, so the flour mixture is done. I don't need this stuff anymore. I'm just gonna push this off to the side. And then what I do, I take like 3 or 4 eggs. I always like to crack my eggs with a knife. I don't know, it seems to work better. I just take like 3 or 4 eggs. I'm throwing that in the sink. I'm not throwing it on the counter. 3 or 4 eggs. And I just kind of eyeball it. Into the sink we go. Let's start with 4. 4 is good. All right, rinse my hands off a little. Paper towel roll started. All right, and then we got buttermilk. Now you don't have to have buttermilk. You can use regular milk. A lot of times I just use regular milk. And I go ahead and I just pour a little bit of this in here. Just to get it kind of started. Oops, big splash. Plastic whisk. Just gonna go ahead and mix up these eggs. I'm not trying to make an omelet. I'm not trying to be professional with it. Just go ahead and mix it up. Just so it gets them a little looser. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add some more buttermilk to it. Buttermilk, I think, adds a little bit more of that sourness to the mixture. Everybody makes their fried chicken with buttermilk. Like I said, don't necessarily have to go out and buy that. I wouldn't do that. You could use whatever, but don't use skim milk because that's not going to work out for you. I'll go ahead and throw it in the sink. Now, we've got everything basically ready now. I got my basket ready. I keep the temperature of the oil is around 340. And everything goes in at a different time. So I'm going to start with the legs. I go ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put 4 legs in.
They're room temperature, right?
They are room temperature. Milk is cold, but they're room temperature. I go ahead and I just mix them in just a little bit just to get some of the egg on here. It'll really help the flour to stick. I put them in the flour mix. Like that, and I always go ahead and get some more ready. So, I mean, because you're bringing them to room temperature, I can throw a bunch of these in here and just really let them get some good egg on them. Okay, so I just sit that there. Come back over here. I'm just going to show you guys the beginning of the process, and I'll come back and show you as we get further along the line. Go ahead, put some flour on there. Flip them over, really pat it down. Sitting here watching the Georgia game at the same time, making sure they don't mess up. So now, you see, there's a light coating of flour on here. Go ahead and shake them off. Basket's not that deep, so I can only do 4, so it takes some time. I remember one summer we did this for an entire dock. How many people were there, Beth? I think like 30 people. I cooked for 5 hours. I ain't doing that ever again. All right, so here we go. Oil's nice and hot. See it going in. There she starts. I say, Alexa, give me a timer for 14 minutes. She doesn't do it, of course. Alexa, Give me a timer for 14 minutes.
14 minutes, starting now.
I put the cover on it, and what I do every once in a while, I come back like every 4 minutes and just kind of shake it a little bit so that they're not sticking together in the oil. And that's kind of the process. So as they start coming out, I'll show you. We're gonna do chicken wings, we're doing chicken tenders. That's the process. That is mom's fried chicken. I'll come back and I'll show you as we start pulling out the batch. Come back. Okay, so we're back. This is the first batch coming out. All right, so we take our lid off. Oops. Got more ready. You've always got to be ready. It coming up. You've got to love anybody who doesn't own a fryer is crazy, because doing that on the stove just makes a mess. But will you look at this? Look at that. Is that just beautiful chicken? Got my pan over here all ready. Just go ahead and put it in the pan, but will you look at that golden brown, absolutely delicious chicken? That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And then I have more ready. So I just sit here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down in the oil. Top goes on. Alexa, give me a timer for 14 minutes.
14 minutes, starting now.
And that's all there is. All right.
Oh,
What do we got here, hon?
I love it. Corn on the cob. Just a little bit roasted and smoked. But this is what I'm so proud of. This is like a little mini cornbread, jalapeno, bacon, and cheese. Yay!
Wow, it looks good. Ooh. Yeah, it's raining out here a little bit, so things are hot. We've got Storm Delta, so I'm gonna go over here and open the door. So Beth's got hot stuff in her hands. Here she comes. Open the door up. Going back in the house. Got towels down for wet dog feet. There it is. Look at this.
We got it.
So it is sitting there ready, looking nice and pretty. Nice job. The chicken is still going. I think we finished that just in time. And I'll be back when we got a finished product. Okay, so the wings are coming out now. And I always set the wings for 10 minutes. And this is where you guys are gonna have to learn your particular fryer and see what it does. Because wings and the tenders really don't take that much time. The dark meat with the 14 minutes, I get that. So these look really good. So I set these for just 10 minutes. I think that was actually absolutely perfect. God, that looks good. We are getting really hungry over here. Beth has started making her plate because she's getting really hungry, and I get it. I always underestimate, and that's what I'll tell you guys. Don't underestimate how much time it takes to do this. I mean, I've been cooking now for a while. The last things that are going in here now are the chicken tenders. You see that we basically just took chicken breasts, and sliced them up. I'm going to put all these in here. Hopefully it's not going to be too much. I'm only going to do 7 minutes on these. That's all I want to do is 7 minutes. We got, in the background, you guys can hear them talking about the storm. We got storms brewing and Delta's doing its thing. But that doesn't stop the Frisbees from cooking. So this is the last batch that's going in. These are the chicken tenders. They're going down again. The temperature is set at 340 degrees. They just went down. I'm going to ask Alexa. Alexa, please set a timer for 7 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 7 minutes.
7 minutes, starting now.
She does it. We're done. I'm going to come back. I'm going to zhuzh them Because zhuzhing, which is a word that Beth and I like to use, you gotta zhuzh it so they don't stick together. That's what you gotta be careful of, because then it creates kind of dead spots or white spots on the fry, which you don't want that to happen. So shaking it really helps. So I'll come back once we pull these out. I'll give you a full picture of what we've got done. We've got cornbread, we've got corn that came off the smoker. Everything's gonna be good. I'm confident you guys can do this. So Frisby's fried chicken, Mom's fried chicken, this is what we do.